This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
What's up, and welcome into another episode of The Wrecking Crew right here on MVP Sports. I'm joined, as I always am, my name Ricky Widmer, joined with my battery mate, Tim Shaw. Tim, how are we doing tonight?
Doing great. Happy Pride Month to everybody. We're coming into June 2nd, I believe we're recording this one. So I'm feeling great. What do you want to talk about, Rick?
I would love, well, we're a week out, meaning they didn't see us last week because of Memorial Day.
True.
I hope everyone had a relaxing Memorial Day.
And remember the troops.
I have a quick question for you because there's kind of been a debate going on at my work about Memorial Day. So I will ask you and ask everyone out there, in your opinion, is it in poor taste or should you not say Happy Memorial Day?
I'm confused. Why would it be in poor taste?
Because, so here's the two sides, right? Some people are like, Happy Memorial Day. I can remember those who have died for my freedom and still say Happy Memorial Day. There are others out there that are like, no, this is not a happy holiday. The people died for our country. Don't say Happy Memorial Day because you're not supposed to be happy on Memorial Day. It's a big debate that's been going around at my job.
That's interesting. That's a debate. I say that we're pretty apolitical here. Mm-hmm. And if you were to celebrate fallen, this is so silly. If we're celebrating fallen veterans, so that's what Memorial Day is all about. And however everybody wants to interpret it, that we're I think as MVP, as a company, mm-hmm. we respect veterans and we celebrate them on this day.
I'm with you on that. It's like I can say Happy Memorial Day, and it doesn't mean I'm happy that people have died, that we can still remember the troops. I just wanted to ask you because it was a big debate going around at my job last week from Memorial Day. But Tim, what I really want to talk about is these Cubs. Before we get into these Cubs, though,
that's why we're here.
Before we get into these Cubs, though, I do want to mention, if you want to support the page, Patreon page is down below, along with the best community in the universe, the MVP Discord. Also, hit that like button, that sub button, leave a comment down below about anything that we talk about during the show. But Tim, the thing I want to, before we get into the first full topic, I do want to mention, how about Ben fucking Brown, man?
How about Ben fucking Brown, man? How about Ben fucking Brown? How about, I was watching actually a Reds podcast earlier this week, mm-hmm. and a few days ago, I guess, at this point, because it's been 3 days since Ben Brown pitched.
Yeah.
And they were all enamored by that knuckle curve that he has.
The one that you were talking about, the 88 mile an hour knuckle curve.
We were talking the 88 mile an hour knuckle curveball that he throws. And a part of me was thinking, like, is this the best pitch in baseball right now? Mm-hmm. This guy is unstoppable with that pitch. And if he can hone it in, that's pretty much all I can say is.
Here's the thing I'm looking at, and this is what my main takeaway before the game. I had the thought of, like, why are we doing the opener thing? I'm really not a fan of the opener. I'll be honest. Call me an old baseball fan. Call me a boomer of baseball. I hate the opener. I'm an old school guy. If you're going to be a starter, you go out there inning one, you get the job done. You give me 6 innings, and then we go to the bullpen. Or if you can give me 9, hey, I'll take it, but not everyone can go 9. Give me a good 6 innings. Give me a quality start. Let's get to the bullpen. Let's get the win. And it's interesting that the Cubs, there's an article that I'm seeing on Marquee that is titled, Cubs hope starting Drew Pomerantz will help Ben Brown get back on track. So it kind of sounds like the opener is here to stay for Ben Brown. Like the one quote it has here, it says, in the first inning results aren't all that worrisome. This is from Brown himself. He said, my last outing, this was before the one we just saw, my average heater was over 96 miles an hour. My average heater to the first 3 batters throwing strikes, I was under 95. So I'm trying to throw as hard as I can, and I'm throwing it slower. And then when I can finally get comfortable and get something going my way, then you start seeing my stuff start to play. Tim, if it works, I'll be fine with it like it did in the last start. But I will say I would love if Ben Brown could be a guy where it's like, hey, maybe let's do a simulated inning then, though, in the bullpen before the game. Give me a simulated inning beforehand, so he's getting that work, so that, okay, that first inning is really like a second inning. But hey, if they want to do the opener, I'm not gonna. If we're winning games with Ben Brown in that 88-mile-an-hour knuckle curve, who am I to talk, right?
Well, it's like you said, if you really want a guy to be an actual true starting pitcher, you would love him to be starting games.
Yeah.
However, he did have a little bit of a slump, and at this point, I'm trusting Craig Counsell when he makes those bullpen decisions.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that really kind of bothered me was wasting Drew Pomeranz in that situation. We might have needed him later because he has been. Well, maybe in the colloquial sense, we have he has been one of our best. I mean,
better relievers.
He has been our best reliever.
Yeah.
But the results speak for themselves. Ben Brown came out. He had 0 runs. I think he had 1 hit. Mm-hmm. And 9 strikeouts, 0 walks. Dude, if you want to give him a little bit of a buffer beforehand, I'm not going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, and that's kind of where I sit, even though I'm not a huge fan of that opening. But let's get into the real first topic of the show, Tim, and that has to deal with Matty Shaw. And I have to... Tim, usually I say like, oh, Tim, what do you think about blah, 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 and I throw you a question. Not today, my friend. And that is because I need to speak to these guys right here. And I'm pointing at them because from what I hear from you, there are people in your personal life, Mr. Shaw. Oh, sorry, I had to sneeze. Also some commenters out there that have this weird thought that I don't like Matt Shaw. Tim, I know he's your cousin. Mr. Shaw, I know he's your nephew, but I have no ill will towards Matt Shaw. Just because I mentioned, hey, we might have to trade him away if we're going to go after a Ryan McMahon, doesn't mean I don't like the guy. And I'll be honest,
I think you're going to need a little bit more explanation than that to prove that you're not against Max Shaw.
Well, the thing is...
Because we are doing this as Cubs fans, we're listening to this as part 2 of the has Matt Shaw proven himself enough to get his name off of the trading block?
Well, it's really part 2 of the trade conversation. Last week we talked about, hey, do we have to get a third baseman? Is Ryan McMahon the guy? This week is, hey, has Matt Shaw done enough to quell everything that we talked about 2 weeks ago? Tim, I got some stats here. I'm just going to read them off and then give my opinion. So in the last 15 days, this is basically since the 19th of May when he came back, he has 43 at-bats, 47 plate appearances because of some walks. He's got 4 walks, 5 stolen bases, 4 ribbies, 5 doubles, 14 hits, 6 runs. He's batting .326 with an OPS of .825. Tim, after these 2 weeks, if Matt Shaw keeps this up, which I'm hoping he does, I am all on board for keeping Matt Shaw. I am not looking to trade him for a third baseman at all. And I think Matt Shaw could be the future of this team. And the thing that I like the most about him, that these stats that I've read from my screen don't tell you, is how many times since he's been called up has he gotten big hits in big moments. I'm trying to think. I want to say it was against the Rockies. There was a game against the Rockies where we won late. Who was the one that got the hit to bring in the winning RBI? It was Matt Shaw.
The 11th inning, he knocked in Birdie.
Yeah,
Birdie was the guy who was on second base. He knocked him in with a single, an opposite field single to right field.
Yeah, but like even the other day, he had like, yes, he's got this, like the amount of RBIs I said, I think it was 6 in those games, but it's some of those RBIs, when are they coming? And they are coming when the team needs a run the most.
Clutch. Yeah, the thing about Matt Shaw is, like we said, like, he's coming through with the bats. He had a good streak of not only like game after game of a good hit streak going.
It was 4 RBIs, by the way, 4. Pardon me.
I think he had 3 or 4 games in a row where he was hitting a double. Like this guy is also hitting for extra base hits, and those are translating to either runs or RBIs. A big thing that we are not talking about that the stats really don't show is how well he's been doing on the field.
True.
I mean,
defensively,
in the past 2 weeks, oh my God, he's had 3 intense plays where he's throwing himself over the side and making weird ass throws over the first base.
Yeah.
And the pitchers getting excited. The first baseman, either it's Turner or Bush, they're going, yeah. Like, I think we have a potential Gold Glover on our hands.
Ooh.
And you pair that, Ricky, with the 4 Gold Glovers that we also already have, potential our former Gold Glovers, Happ, Nico, Swanson, and Tucker, and not to mention, I mean, we all know PCA is going to win the Gold Glove this year.
I hope he wins the MVP
if you put
this
that
year.
all together, that's 6 Gold Glovers on your field right now. Top defense in baseball?
I mean, close to it, right? Close to
Top
it.
3? Easily.
The other RBI I was thinking of was, so yet again, I know the game was the game seemed out of reach, but there was that game we ended up losing 6-2 to the Reds.
Yes.
And it was in the bottom of the 8th. I was very impressed with, so Nico gets a hit. I want to say Nico doubled. Then Bush tripled, which brought Nico home. And then with Nico on third, Shaw then singles down the line to right, scoring Bush. How many young players in that situation go, whatever, it's 6-1, the game's over, like it's the end of May, like whatever, this one's over, we'll go to the bar, we'll get them tomorrow. No, ropes one to right, gets that runner home. I want to say that was also an inning where we got then one more guy on, and I was kind of upset we couldn't get guys home. We got guys also on in the 9th and couldn't get them home, and it was like our veterans couldn't get them home that game, but Matt Shaw did. And it's like how young he is and the plays he's making.
And to add to your point about how young he is in that situation of, sheer panic and everything like that, and needing a clutch hit. How many guys that are that young are not trying to pull the ball? How many guys are right-handed hitters slapping him to right? Not many, because that's not the sexy play. He's got a smart disposition when it comes to batting in those certain situations. I'm almost surprised he didn't lay down a bunt, to be honest with you, with Craig Counsell doing that lately.
Nah, he's been swinging the bat too good to have him bunt.
Yeah, I know.
You don't take the bat out of good hitters' hands. 2
weeks since we talked, he's been hitting 326. You've said that already. Doesn't have a homer yet. Not a big deal. Nico still doesn't have a homer.
We don't
There's plenty
need
of that to go around, but as long as they're scoring runs and hitting RBIs, who gives a shit, right?
I mean, if PCA, Suzuki, and Tucker keep slamming home runs,
Yeah, keep pulling the team on their fucking shoulders.
Not everybody needs to hit home runs. Some guy like Nico, the thing I like about Nico, he gets on base. He gets on base.
Yes, he does.
And not only does he get on base, like the thing that I like when I look at Matt Shaw with those numbers, right? With how many doubles? I'm gonna look that up again. What, five of 14 hits are doubles. The thing I like about that is, okay, I can rely on you. Let's say nobody's on. If you're getting doubles, you're getting into scoring position.
You're doing your job.
You're getting into scoring position. That is the big thing. Because, like, here, let me go back to I'm going to just use the last game as an example. That 7-3 win over the Reds. So if you look at the batting order from that game, he was batting 8th. So usually he's batting like 8th or 9th. He's batting in that bottom 3. So, like, if you're batting 8th, I know in that game he went 0 for 4. So, like, one of his stinker games, but everyone's going to have a game like that. I mean, Ian Happ leading off went 0 for 5 in that game. So, like, it's going to happen. I just look at it and go, if you could double in the 8th or 9th hole, you're getting a runner in scoring position, even if McGuire, I think the only reason he wasn't batting 9th is because McGuire was playing for Carson Kelly that day.
Oh, they were trying to ride his hot streak too.
Yeah. But if Shaw, like, if he's batting 9th, I'm going to look at that specifically. You're batting 9th, you get doubles. That means, boom, Ian Happ's coming up with a runner on second. Oh, Ian Happ gets you the third, gets an out, but he gets you the third. All right, Kyle Tucker's now up. Oh, like, Ian Happ doesn't get you the third. Oh, Kyle Tucker is still up. Like, you're on second with then Happ, Tucker, Suzuki, PCA, what seemed to be our solid 1, 2, 3, 4, and isn't going to change this year.
Right, and you mentioned a little bit of the old 5 from Happ. Happ hasn't really had a great outing since he's come back from
The
injury. Obviously, that's going to come back with time. I still am fine with the entire batting order. I'm still fine with him batting leadoff. I'm still fine with Matt Shaw batting 9th. I'm still fine with Tucker 2 and Suzuki 3. But you're right. He's creating opportunities, and after that, it's really not on him. He's a good base runner, at least decent enough.
Yeah.
He knows how to. He doesn't get caught stealing or caught in some bad rundown or anything like that. So far as we've seen, knock on wood. Matt Shaw has done enough, in my opinion, to at least quench the thirst for a new.
I hope you were going to use that word. Quench the thirst.
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I will say with this before we like.
Would you agree?
Yeah. No, I do. Like, he got me to base. I'm not even thinking about Ryan McMahon anymore. I'm not thinking about third base anymore.
Are you still dreaming of Nolan Arenado?
No.
Good.
No. I agree with you in the sense of, we're going to talk about this later. I don't want to get to it now. We'll talk about it later. But also, Shaw comes into this. We will need to make a trade. I think pitching is more of that now focused. I'm not worried about third base. But also, even if pitching is the thing we're going to trade for, Matt Shaw is off the table. He's untouchable.
Interesting.
He is untouchable.
Interesting.
Because if I trade him, I have a hole then at third base.
Yeah. No, I know that. And he's not completely off the table for me because he's such a puzzle piece right now.
So you would
become a valuable chip.
So you would trade him for a pitcher. For
the right trade. Yeah, okay. I think so.
Yeah, he's untouchable for me. We need a third baseman.
That's just because of his circumstance. You know, if he was 4 years older and we, you know, he's doing great right now, but let's be honest, young guys are still question marks. You know, as much as I hate to say it, PCA can still be considered a question mark.
Yeah.
You know, You need some years of experience, some servitude, some years
Yeah.
served in the MLB to become a solid no trade anyways type player.
I agree with.
I honestly, there's probably only like 3, 4 guys on the Cubs that I would consider that. So it's not a shot at Matt Shaw.
Mhm.
It's just,
Well, how
you
about the
know,
stray you just threw at PCA?
that's not straight.
So the reason why I say that is, um, with you saying that, I'm on the other side with PCA. I think he's here. I think this is PCA. It has gotten so, like, I am so in the PCA corner, Tim, that in fantasy baseball, I get 3 keepers, right? Skeens is going to stay a keeper. Otani going to stay a keeper. In my opinion, Lindor, bye-bye, baby, because PCA is my 3rd keeper right now if we're ending the season. So, like, I think this is going to be, like, PCA has turned into, hey, this is what he's going to be the rest of his career. I don't think we're going to see no down seasons. It ain't going to be like, oh, he's digressed back to what he was.
I don't think so either. But you like last week or last episode, we compared him to Chris Bryant,
Mm-hmm.
who had
Well, he had the
3,
back
4
injuries.
great years for the Cubs. I know that. I'm just saying, nobody's a guarantee until they're a guarantee.
I
And
get what you're saying,
there's
but
there's a few guys in the Cubs I think are guarantees,
okay.
and that's just being as conservative as I can be.
Mm-hmm. Tim's like, I don't want to jinx anything. You don't want to say he's a guarantee, and then he is not, and then Tim's like, oh no, I'm sad. Is that where it's coming from?
I'm on the record here, bud.
He's like, I'm on the record here. I will say the last thing I want to talk about with this is something that doesn't even do with Matt Shaw. Give me a second. My microphone cord is trying to trip me. Got caught on my chair. The last thing I want to mention doesn't even have to do anything with Shaw. You know what? This little stretch with Shaw, you know what it gives me hope for, or who it gives me hope for? Belly total offense. Hopefully him have it come up, go back down. Hopefully the next time we see Ballesteros, I'm hoping for kind of like, I know every player is different, Tim, but I'm hoping for lightning to strike twice. Like, hey, you came up, you were good, not great. Let's send you back down. Hey, work on the things, the notes we gave you. And then when he comes back, it's like slingshot back into a, because that's the one thing I think that with Ballesteros, it's almost like a thing for the future of like, okay, whose spot is he going to take? Bush's spot or Carson's spot? Is he going to be our everyday catcher or everyday first baseman?
That's really interesting. That brings up 2 points I want to say.
Go ahead.
First, when it comes to Matt Shaw and PCA, I think we have that lightning in a bottle right now because they're both fortunate enough to come up on a team that's already winning.
Yeah.
And that's what is super important and we always make the comparison. I'm sorry, Cubs fans, if you hear this too much, we make the comparison with 2016 a lot. But we had a solid team that was already there, and we brought up all these young guys that automatically started hitting.
Yeah.
You look at a team like the Reds, who we just played. Now you got guys like Ellie De La Cruz and Matt McClain, who are great players right now, young, great players. They're on a shitty team. Now, are you going to waste their young, spry potential because you can't make it to the playoffs? Probably. And then we'll see what happens when they later in their career. We got these guys when we're already on the upswing.
Yeah.
Very, very fortunate to be on this team when they are. And I'm not giving them a pass or anything. This is all bonus for the Cubs.
Yeah.
Because you got these young guys. So many of them are coming up, and so many of them are performing alongside guys like Cade Horner and Swanson and Ian Happ, and Bush. These guys that have been there and done it. Obviously, Kyle Tucker. We'll get into him later. it's so fortunate that like the timing works out so well that I'm fully into what we talked about last week. Should we be going for the World Series or should we be kind of a World Series or bust?
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at right now.
And the reason why I'm also there is I love to do this. You give me a reason to open up my FanDuel app, Tim. It always makes me happy.
I hate when you do gambling.
if you look at it right now, if you go to the MLB on FanDuel and go to World Series, you've got for the NL alone, 1, 2, 3. Who's the fourth team? The Cubs. Top 4 odds in the NL. Now, overall, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're in the top 6. That's ever changing, though. The question that
the NL is way better than the AL right now.
Here's a question I have for you, and this just popped into my head because I'm looking at it here. This weekend series might determine a lot here. Do you think the books are...
Washington?
No. Do you think the books are bogus for having the Detroit Tigers 3rd overall odds and the Cubs 6th? Do the Tigers deserve to be that far ahead of us? Because, yeah, I know they made the playoffs last year, but really, what have they done? Yeah, they're winning, but the Cubs are winning also.
I haven't really paid attention to the Tigers this year. That's kind of a cardinal sin because they're obviously the best team in baseball right now, according to record.
Well, hottest team in baseball.
Hottest team. Let's say the hottest team.
Yeah.
I have not watched a ton of their games, to be honest with you. I don't think I've watched one of their games. So that's probably my biggest interest going into this weekend.
Yeah.
Is seeing what we do against the American League's best team.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think it's fair? Sure.
Okay.
Who cares? It's June.
Well, yeah, now it's June. You're right. Now we're fully into June.
Right. Well, yeah, now I can move the goalpost.
Yeah, you can move it. We're into June by a full day. I just look at it and go like, us and the Tigers, I kind of see as like, yes, the Tigers made the postseason last year. We did not. But let's not act like the Tigers are. I ain't gonna go on a Cardinal rant like I did the last time. But like, let's not act like the Tigers are the Kings. You know what I'm saying? The Dodgers, yes, earn that respect. The Yankees have the best player in baseball on their team, Aaron Judge. The Phillies, I understand. The Mets, I understand. You have Juan Soto. That team should always be above us in betting odds, just because usually it's like, what talent do you got? But I just look at the Tigers and I go, plus 560? Is this team really done
Also,
enough to earn it?
Betting odds are very superficial also.
Yes.
So it's good to have a fringe team that you know as a baseball player. We all know as a baseball players that the Cubs are better than the Mets.
Yeah.
And it's great to have that odds against us to make us more money if we ever wanted to bet on them. I'm not a gambling man. I know you are. But I'm sure there's gambling fans out there that are listening to us right now. Don't get distracted by the odds of Vegas. They only look at the superficial. They only look at LA. They only look at New York. They barely look at the middle of the country. So take that as an advantage, I would say.
I mean, Cubs plus 1,300.
I'm so excited for this series against them because I'd love to see what we do against them. Is it at home or is it on the road?
I think it's on the road. Let me check real quick. I know they just kicked.
I love Comerica Park. I can't wait to see that.
They just kicked the piss out of the White Sox tonight. Yeah, they won 13.
Oh no, I'm scared.
They won 13-1 tonight over the White Sox. Oh, I'm not saying that like we should be scared, Tim. I'm just saying like 13-1. That's an ass kicking.
We also kicked the piss out of them.
We did. Let's see. Looking at the schedule.
Can't wait for a PCA Grand Slam.
Where's June? Yeah, it's on the road. Our next 9 games are on the road. We got 3 at Washington, 3 at Detroit, 3 at Philly before being home June 12th against the Pirates. Then we got
Let me say this.
Then we got Pirates, Brewers, Mariners at home, and then Cardinals, Astros on the road, and that's our June.
I think one of our guys might be coming off the injured list for that. I think we might get Shota for that Detroit series.
Well, with you saying that, Tim, the reason why you said that is because you know what that is in the biz. It's called a segue. And Tim just leaning forward, doing that segue right into the next segment.
I'm getting good at it.
Is that your dance? Are you dancing on me?
Yeah.
Oh man.
I'm feeling smug.
I'm feeling smug. The next thing we're going to talk about is Cub injury news. The first part has to do with Tim. This time I will kick it to you. Kyle Tucker injures his, I want to say it was an index finger, sliding into third, left the game during the, it was a ring finger. Thank you.
Ring finger. He was sliding into second base. He slid in with his left hand, which had, he was sliding into second base. Okay. He had his oven mitt on the left hand, no oven mitt on the right hand. And he had the interview where he said that his hand just kind of got caught underneath him. Routine play. It happens to everybody. His helmet also flew off and cut the bridge of his nose also. That wasn't really reported. Not a big deal. It turns out not that big of an injury. Not that big of a deal. All of
X-rays came back negative.
Big
sigh of relief.
Because
how lucky did we get? That's the question I want to ask you. How lucky did we get?
Yeah. We got very lucky.
He gets injured. He's out for a while. The season's down the toilet, in my opinion.
You and everybody else knows as a left-handed hitter, your right hand is your number one part of your at bat. You know, that's the one that's holding on to the ball. It's the one that brings the strength to it.
Yep.
And Craig Counsell said after the game, he goes, he took that second at bat after he hurt his thumb, and he goes, it's a little uncomfortable, which is great news. Counsell also said they were up 7-3. He goes, we're up 7-3. Fuck it. Just take them out.
Yeah.
Take them out. We have a day off tomorrow, which is today, Monday.
They're going to see if he can go tomorrow.
I think he's going to go tomorrow. If not, he'll probably be there on Wednesday. Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah. Well, Wednesday. You're right. Today's Monday.
Right.
Let's see if there's anything on Twitter about it.
Very, very fortunate that he didn't have a setback and got thrown out of the lineup. I think we would have been fine if he had sprained his hand and went on the 10-day DL. But it's good that didn't happen. I hope there's no lingering injury with that. I hope that doesn't bleed over into any months going post. But yeah, did we get lucky? 100%. I mean, I think they got a little dramatic with how bad it could have been. But knowing that he is not really going to miss a game or maybe miss one, I think we're all in good shape here. There's nothing to worry about.
It could have been a lot worse. And like I'm saying, like if he had to miss extended time, I would worry about this team in the fact of, I think it's so important. Health is the best thing that a team can have. And I feel like if we lose any of Tucker, Seiya, PCA, Nico, that's going to affect the offense because especially with Kyle Tucker, he's been a solid hitter from the 2 spot. Where it's like if Ian Happ, I know he's been struggling since the injury, but if he can get it going, if he gets like a double, boom. All right, now you're in scoring position with Tucker coming up. Oh, Tucker gets on. Let's say Happ got out. Tucker gets on. Oh, Seiya coming up. Like someone would have to fill that number 2 hole, which I kind of think it's like, well, last year we had the same guys except for Tucker. Without Tucker, we'd kind of like, there's a part of me that goes, we'd revert back to last year. And there's another part of me that goes, Ricky, that's not how it works. We got Matt Shaw this year. Like things are different. But it's just, Kyle Tucker has been so good for this team that I wouldn't want it to be like a Seiya situation where it's like one piece leaves and everything's kind of in shambles until they get back.
So it's also us being Cubs fans where we're always waiting for the
sky
other
is
shoe
falling.
To fall. Yeah. Always waiting for anything that's
waiting for that shoe to drop.
Good. Yeah, we're wait for the other shoe to drop and you gotta count your stars, and that's what keeps us on our feet. Even when they're 36-22 and they're 15 games over 500 or 16 games, whatever it is, and we're top of the division. We're almost top of the National League. We're still going. When is it going to happen? Because quite frankly, a lot of our guys are playing out of their potential.
Yeah.
And it's great to see, and I hope it continues, and I think it will continue. And I think we're just being paranoid.
Isn't that baseball fans though?
I guess so. I guess
especially like you said, Cub fans. Like so
that's the Chicago way, though. Like we're all fucking Polish Irish guys that all just have guilt constantly and hope are always thinking that we deserve the worst.
Don't talk to me about guilt. You brought up Polish, and I'm like, you brought up Polish and then guilt.
I brought up Irish too. That's me.
All you had to do to complete the trifecta is like Catholic, because I grew up
Catholic,
Polish Catholic family. My grandmother used it. My grandfather used guilt. My mom uses guilt on me. It's like guilt is a weapon in this house, and it usually works.
You're waiting for a bad thing to happen.
Yeah, like
here, when it doesn't, that's what makes it even more appreciative. But we always are looking over our shoulder. That's why it kind of confused me last time when we were talking about the Cardinals, when you did do your epic rant about them. When you asked the question, should we be looking over our shoulders at the other division? I'm like, yeah, of course we should. Because I'm always expecting the worst.
Yeah, but I'm also on that fuck the Cardinals train. You know what I'm saying?
I know you are.
To where it's like, whatever, we're better than you and we know it, MJF style. Give a little John Cena. We got to start. We got to get diamond rings. Very quickly, I just want to bring up a quick aside to finish this point about the guilt and stuff.
Yep.
It's almost like, and I know we bring up 2016 a lot, but who wouldn't when you win a World Series? It's almost like...
Everybody shut the fuck up. We bring up 2016.
Every single time. Okay. I watched an Instagram reel this weekend that basically said that game 7 is the greatest MLB game of all time. And there's a part of me that goes, yeah, that was like for a normal sports fan, a normal baseball fan, probably the most entertaining game. But like for me, whenever I watch game 7, whenever Rajay hits that home run, I think the same thing every time, even though I know the outcome now. I go, there's the game. Cubs are going to lose. Because that's what I thought in the moment. I was like, well, fuck, the game's over. See, I knew things were going to hit the fan eventually. We get all the way to game 7. We have the lead, and then, whoop, okay, this is where it ends. This is where it's over. Rajay Davis, screw you.
I'll tell you this. I have that same tight butthole feeling when he hits that homer. And then you see the cameraman flip it around because it did hit the camera, which is incredible.
Yeah.
And then the guy just goes, whatever. The camera flips around, and you see the camera guys start celebrating with the fans.
Yeah.
I've never wanted to be a Guardians fan more in my life than at that point.
Well, at the time, Indians
until about until about the time that Rajay Davis is rounding third, and they show
LeBron,
the press box. And they show LeBron. And I go, oh, you have no idea what's coming for you motherfucker.
By the way, you said like almost best team in the NL. So it all depends on tonight. The Mets are playing the Dodgers tonight. If the Dodgers win tonight, it's in LA. So if the Dodgers win tonight, they'll be 37-23, a half game behind us because we're 37-22. Okay. That would make the Mets 37-23. So if the Mets lose, we're the best record in the NL. If the Mets win, they're the best record in the NL after tonight.
Yeah, and that doesn't really mean that much to me. Again, like I think me and you would agree. We're talking about we're focused on the division.
Yeah. Which were 4 games ahead of the Cards.
Just focus on getting there because it doesn't matter after that.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I guess it only matters when you talk about who you're going to play in the standings, but
which I will say one of the biggest things though is it was so it's still true right now. If the season ended today and the playoffs started today, the Cubs would have a bye. If we could get first or second and get a bye,
Hey.
That would be huge. That would be huge if we could get and not have to play that opening weekend. No, BYE. BYE.
Oh,
like
I'm sorry.
bye.
I'm sorry.
Like a bye week. Like I'm waving goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought we were being bi.
No, never. But yeah, that'd be huge if we get a bye week.
Of course it would. Of course it would.
God, can we though?
What win to where we get the bye? Yeah, I think so.
Well, it's like okay, who doesn't then? The Mets or the Dodgers? Because really, it's us, the Mets, and the Dodgers that are fighting for it.
I don't think the Mets are shit. I really honestly think the Phillies are going to take them.
Okay. And then the Phillies will be the best of the first round.
Have you seen how well Kyle Schwarber's been hitting?
Yes, absolutely. I'm waiting for an MLB card to come out, like in one of the May spotlights.
Did he hit his 20th homer tonight? I think.
Let's see. He did not tonight. They didn't play tonight.
Or is he still sitting at 19?
They didn't play tonight.
Like the guy is making a strong run to knock out maybe. I know it's too early to talk about this, and we'll talk about it maybe in the next couple episodes.
He's at 19.
But he's making a strong run to take the slot from Tucker or PCA for an outfielder in the All-Star game. Like he's going to be a guy that's people are going to have to worry about.
Is he an outfielder or no? He'd be a DH. He'd be the DH, dude.
Yeah, but when it comes to like player voting or fan voting, I don't think it matters. I think he would be considered an outfielder. I think like even like Corbin Carroll could be considered an outfielder because he plays a little bit of center field.
Yeah, he plays.
Regardless,
we'll
talk
DH.
about that in a few weeks.
Yeah, we'll talk about the All-Star game.
Yeah. We might be getting Miguel Amaya back in about a week, which is exciting.
That means Reese is going back down.
I think it does,
they're not
unfortunate because
they're not going to send Connor Kelly down.
Carson Kelly.
You're right. Why do I keep calling him Connor Kelly?
I think you know a guy named Connor Kelly from high school.
I have no idea who Connor Kelly is. This is not the first time I've called him. Do we make shirts that say Connor Kelly?
Kelly?
And he can't sue us because it's not his name?
Yeah, it's just like the that 70s Show episode, Tad Nugent.
Tad Nugent. Tad Nugent.
No, I mean, we would be remiss if we didn't talk about the game that Reese McGuire had for us.
Yeah.
His first game up, hitting 2 homers. Dude, it seems like every time we have an injury, somebody steps up.
And that is huge.
Yes, and that's the Craig Counsell rub, I believe. I really do. Because
the CCE,
if you look at the guys,
the Craig Counsell effect.
Exactly. And if you think about all the guys we brought up and switched out of our bullpen, and guys that shouldn't have been shit, and they're pitching the way they are. Did you know, Ricky? Did you know that the Cubs are ranked number 1 in ERA for the month of May?
No, I did not know that. Bullpen ERA or combined ERA?
Bullpen.
After we shit on them relentlessly.
I know. That's the Craig Counsell effect. I really believe that.
Everything positive. It's Craig Counsell effect.
I know who I want. They're like, "Are you sure you want this guy?" They're like, "No, I want Thielbar up here.
Yeah,
I want Brad Keller up here because I can see what they can do, and they're doing it. You know, we've dealt with the Porter Hodge injury, and you know he might even just
be done.
I don't know if he comes back and turns into like an actual member, or is he's just a regular middle reliever for us. But you know, I think he's still got about 11 days on the IL list.
You're thinking of football. You want to say IR.
I know. Why am I thinking
you're watching too many Bears OTA clips, Tim.
I am watching a little bit. Yeah, I'm excited for the Bears. Go Bears, by the way.
But so you're saying we might be getting Maya back soon. Did I also hear you right? Shota?
I think we're getting Maya back soon. I think we're getting Shota back in the next week.
Okay.
And Tucker, we might have back in a day or two.
Yeah, well, tomorrow he should.
The major injuries that we've been dealing with might not be that big of a deal anymore. You know, obviously we got Steele that's out for the rest of the year, which also, Rick, I'm just doing this as a side, a little parentheses, a little wish.
You want Sandy Alcantara?
No. No. Steele might be available for the playoffs.
Okay. But I feel like if he's back for the playoffs, he's going to be in a lackey situation.
Sure. Fine. Yeah. Fine. Put him in the bullpen. Make him the closer.
Yeah.
But like having that back, that'd be very encouraging to have.
Also, I'm going to say this before we move on because you kind of hinted.
But we're going to need another starting pitcher in case he doesn't.
That's what I was hinting at. See, Tim, you doing these segues, before we completely segue over, I got one thing to tell you. You know what I looked at today?
Tell me.
So I looked at a little website called eBay. Do you know what I was looking for on eBay?
What's eBay?
So, Tim, there are people selling the Dansby Swanson headbands in the packaging for $60 a pop on eBay. I almost bought us two of them on one each on the spot.
I would have loved to do this podcast with the Dansby Swanson wig.
Would we have looked better than the boys in the booth? Because Boogs had it on.
Yes and no. So what I would have loved to have,
I know you love Boogs.
Us have a wig on. The Swanson in that game did not have great at bat.
No.
Jesus Christ, I have the hiccups.
Well, let's be honest. The umpire didn't know what a fucking outside ball was. Let's be honest.
He still
got
had
Swanson
a
with
late
it
inning
twice.
RBI. So he still came through with his hit at RBI at the end of the game on Dansby Swanson.
But can we at least acknowledge that an umpire didn't know what an outside ball was and rang Swanson up twice on it?
I can acknowledge that, but I would also say that the umpire was pretty consistent, and Ben Brown, I believe it was the Ben Brown game.
He had one below
the zone. Had a few pitches.
He had one below the zone that was a strikeout.
He had a few, which is fine. It's at least the umpire's being consistent.
Yeah, wrong is still wrong, Tim. Eject me. Eject me from the podcast, Tim. Eject me. Did you see that? By the way, did you see that shit too?
Can I kick you out?
No, yeah, did you see? You know what I'm referencing, right? Did you see that shit that happened? I can't remember who it was in the Twins game. Didn't like the call, so he took off his helmet and did this, and tapped his head twice, and the ump rung him, said, "You're out, you're gone," because he couldn't handle that he tapped his head.
And the tap means review, right?
Yeah, so that's what you do. Like what they're gonna probably bring in next year. Like, I didn't like that. Okay, go to review.
So are they saying the players can't do that? Only the manager can do that type thing?
No, they're saying because
it's the umpire's butthole problem.
No, the umpire's just pissed off because it's not in the MLB yet. So that was basically him saying, "Yeah, I don't agree with that call," because he tapped his head and he rung him up.
But they do that every time they slide into second and get thrown out. They go,
"Yeah, dude, that ump was so soft. I was so angry.
I hate a soft umpire. Oh my god!
Only hard umpires.
Whole segment about. We won't do that to you, fans. We won't do that to you.
We won't talk about soft and hard umpires.
We hate that umpires. Oh man, I could go off on soft umpires.
But let's segue into the next topic, which is we're talking trades again. But Tim, this time you kind of feel, you in particular, and I don't disagree with you, feel like the Cubs should target, we'll say, starting pitching.
Yes.
You wouldn't be mad with a pitcher, but starting pitching specifically. And you did a great job for us behind the scenes work of coming up with a nice little graph of like players you think that we would target and teams that would be willing to sell. I'm going to be honest. There's a team on here. Usually I'd wait till the end because it's like, ooh, let's leave the spicy one for later in. Let's not start with that one. But this time I am. There is not only a name on this list that I'm surprised with. His team is also a surprise. You have the Atlanta Braves on here. And the guys that you have listed that maybe the Cubs could target, you have Swellenbach, which is like, okay, younger pitcher. You have Strider, okay, younger pitcher. You have what is it? Reynaldo Lopez, been injured, but a good pitcher when he's in. But the name I'm most shocked at of all these for the Braves, you think they'd really trade Chris Sale?
Do I think the Braves would trade for them or trade him? Or do you think
Yes. Do you think the Braves would say, yes, here, we'll give you Chris Sale?
So when I compose this list, and we can actually, if you want, you have my permission to put the list on the screen here.
Mm-hmm.
I targeted teams that I think are not going to make the playoffs and would be willing to dump money, talent, and aging players. I know I have Schwellenbach on there, who's a younger guy, but Chris Sale has actually been doing very well this year. He's got over 68 innings, got 3.06 ERA with 86 strikeouts and 19 walks. Tell me a guy on the Cubs that's doing better than that. You can't.
Yeah, but it's like, here's the reason why it shocked me, right? And I'm going to pull them up can I get this in pictures? Okay.
So while you're looking that up, let me say this. Let me clarify. What I'm looking for is a 1-2 with Shota Imanaga.
Okay.
Because as much as I like the guys that we have, I don't see them being playoff winners.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, okay, I don't see them being World Series winners.
Yeah.
We need one more strong arm that we can fully depend on. And I think you and I would agree, Imanaga is a guy we can fully depend on.
Yeah.
Steele, before he got injured, is a guy we can fully depend on. We got to replace him. He's our number one that we just lost. So, or number two, whatever you want to classify it as. We need to replace that. We can't just bring in a guy that's going to be another fourth starter behind Boyd or Tyone, or even Brown if he develops that way. Colin Ray is starting to lose some favor with me. There's guys out there on. Right, he didn't look great, and he's doing his job. I think potentially he's a bullpen arm. I think if it doesn't go stellar, Ben Brown might be a bullpen arm for us going forward, and that's a great thing. Like those guys in the bullpen are strong arms. My thing is that we need a guy that's going to be a guy, and I gave you a list of guys that are potential game-changing trades that we can make. I gave you about a list of I think about 4 or 5 different teams.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I was just gonna say before you get into the other list, I do want to say one more thing about Sale and the Braves. Like, I don't want to move off them completely.
Go ahead.
Looking at the contracts, because you have the stats here, and it's like, so Schwellenbach. The thing I like about Schwellenbach is the ERA around 3 isn't bad. 71 Ks, 12 strikeouts, or 71 strikeouts, 12 walks. Perfect. Like perfect. Strider, like the strikeouts to Ks. He's only pitched 14 innings. ERA is a little high. Love Sale. I would take Sale in a heartbeat. Here's the only thing. Like, I am now after looking at the contracts, I am on board with you. The reason why is I think, so you look at Spencer Strider, he's 26, going to be 27 after this year, October, so after the year. This is his third year of his contract. He's under contract for 1, 2, 3, 4 more years. We're going to have to give up a lot to get him. Same with Schwellenbach. He's actually 25, going to be, well, actually, he'll be 26, or he just turned 25. Pardon me. Happy birthday, Schwellenbach. It was 2 days ago.
Happy birthday, Schwellenbach.
He enters pre-arbitration. Usually those guys, you have to give up a lot because you got contract control over that guy. However, Sale, He's 36, just turned 36 in March. He's got one more year in his contract. It's club option 2, so kind of the same thing I think we had with Chapman, where it was that one, could have been that 1 year and then gone if we don't want to keep Sale around.
And I want to say, I think the same thing with Horse Teeth that we got from the Cardinals.
Lackey.
Lackey.
Did you just call him Horse Teeth?
That's the only way I remember him.
Do you know who he pitched for recently?
No.
The Savannah Bananas.
Oh, shut up.
Yeah. I saw they played a game in the Angels Stadium, and he came out and pitched. They did the whole Angels in the outfield thing, where they had a kid doing this.
You know why I call him Horse Teeth? Do you know the comedian Jim Brewer?
Yes, I know Jim Brewer.
I remember he was a big Yankee fan.
Because someone's going to hear Horse Teeth and go, whoa, you can't say that in this day and age.
He was a Mets fan.
Yeah.
When we played them in 15 and 16. Oh, 16 obviously. That's when we got Lackey. And he goes, they got Lackey going out there, and he's a workhorse.
He's a workhorse.
And that's always stuck in my head. It's like Horse Teeth, workhorse. That's Lackey right there.
So, what I was going to say, here's my only thought about Chris Sale, and I don't know if this is a problem. If we trade for Sale, here is our starting rotation then, because Steele's out for the year. Shota, lefty. Sale, lefty. Boyd, lefty. Taillon, righty. Rhea, righty. Cade Horton, righty. I put Rhea and Horton just because I don't know who would be in the deal. I don't know. One of those would be the fifth. Is it worrisome then that we would have 3 lefties? Was that too many lefties? Because usually starters we have more righties than lefties to pitch. Is that worrisome then that our guys are lefties?
I get your concern. A little bit, sure. I mean, yeah, absolutely. You know, there is a commodity for a left-handed pitcher. There's a part of me that really would rather it be a starter than a bullpen guy. But I totally understand your concern.
Because I'm thinking for a playoff series, right? A playoff series, it's like
the guy's numbers this year so far.
But then it's like with Taillon or Rhea or Taillon or Horton, like you can't throw then Shota, Sale, Boyd 1, 2, 3 in a series, because then the other team's like, we're just going to load up on guys who hit lefties as well.
Well, I'm going to tell you this though, as you probably know from playing the show, right? That's your kind of secondary lineup. You know, you kind of prepare for right-handed pitching. So if you throw them left-handed pitching 3 times in a row, there's a chance I can throw people off. I'm just trying to, I'm grasping at straws. Yeah. You're right. Having that many lefties, it could be a problem, but I'm not as concerned as if we're trying to trade for a left-handed bullpen guy.
So as you were saying, and I've got the list on my phone, I'm going to read off the list. You tell me, in your opinion, who's the bona fide guy you think A, the Cubs will go with, and B, who would be like, who's the guy that's like, this is the realistic target. This is the guy I'm zeroing in on. You have Evaldi from Texas.
Before you do that.
Go ahead.
Before you do that, is there any guy on that list that you say that sticks out to you as your bona fide guy?
So
and you what?
Let me read the list first.
Go first, and then I'll go first.
So you got Evaldi on the Rangers. You got Sears and Severino on Oakland. You've got DeGrom and is it Molly?
I think it's Maul. Tyler Maul.
From Texas. So you have 3 guys from Texas. You have Gore from Washington. We talked about Sale, Strider, Lopez, Schwellenbach from Pittsburgh. And then you have Skeens, Keller, and Heaney from Pittsburgh. The 2 guys I like the most, because there are 2 of them, both come from the Texas Rangers. I'll be honest, Skeens I'm throwing off because if Skeens is getting traded, it's later. It's not going to be this year. They're not going to trade him this year.
Well, and I don't think there's a chance that like I don't like to think like you have this thing where like inter division trades people.
Well,
don't
it's
want
not
to help each
even
other
that.
out.
Like they're not going to trade Skeens his second year into being with the team.
Oh, I doubt that. I mean I don't necessarily agree with
like
that.
he's that team right
up.
now. Like that's how they're selling tickets.
What we'd have to give up for Skeens would be a lot.
I like Eovaldi and I like DeGrom, and the reason being is they're two pitchers that the stats are good. Like the stats are good, and they're guys that have been aces on squads before. Like Eovaldi, if DeGrom's the ace, Eovaldi used to be the ace in Boston. He was good when he was with Boston. Let's not forget about those days.
Right.
So like,
no, Eovaldi's going to be an all-star this year for sure.
And like, correct me if I'm wrong, DeGrom has World Series experience, no? He's got a World Series, does he not? Or was he injured that year with the Mets? No, he does not have a World Series. No, wrong.
They did not win.
Yeah, he was at the Mets 2014 to 2020. So he was on that 2015 team, but I think he was injured because he was injured for like a whole year while with the Mets. I know the Mets didn't.
But he was part of that. He was part of that superhero team with like Syndergaard
with Thor.
And,
yep.
With Thor, yeah. Who's the other guy? Didn't they have another guy that they called him Iron Man and Thor was Syndergaard, and wasn't there another one? Anyways,
look it up.
Not to waste too much time on this or on that stat. I'm surprised you don't really your eyes don't pop for Tyler Mahle.
Maybe I'm
having a 1.64 ERA.
Tell me what I'm missing then. Maybe it's on me.
I think you're missing that he's their third best pitcher, and is probably more willing to move your third best than your first or second.
Okay.
Maybe you get a better trade package for him. I don't think he's too young to where they're going like, no, he's a blue chipper. We're not. He's like untouchable. But
yeah, he
honestly,
is 30.
man, I'm looking more towards Washington with Mackenzie Gore.
Okay, why is it? Just so before you go into that, I just want to say DeGrom 36, going to be 37. Though he'll be 37 this month. He's got 2 bona fide years left on his deal and a club option. So 2, maybe 3. Eovaldi just turned 35. He's got 2 more years on his contract. And Mahle is a free agent at the end of the year. So if we're getting DeGrom or Eovaldi, we're locked down with them for 2 more years. It ain't like a Chapman situation. I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yeah, I think it's probably an easier trade to make also. Other than my guy Gore.
Why Gore?
I just like Gore. I like him. He's got a wicked slider. He's a right-handed hitter. I think he's only 26 years old.
That strike to walk out ratio is insane.
Yeah. He's on a shitty team. They might be desperate for some infielders, maybe some pitchers. I think, unfortunately, despite what I said last week, in most of these trades, Kate Horton is probably going to be involved.
Probably, yeah.
But big deal. What are we doing here? We're trying to win, right?
Yet again, not a big deal, but I'm throwing it out here. Mackenzie Gore is a left-hander. That would mean 3 left-handers in our rotation.
Oh, he is a lefty.
He is a lefty. Okay. I looked it up because I needed to know. He is a lefty.
Fair enough.
Not that that's a killer on any deal, but like I
must have been watching a YouTube video where it was mirrored.
Yeah.
To avoid copyright.
Yeah, he's a lefty.
But like you said, that strikeout to K ratio or K to walk ratio,
101 to 21. Oh,
get the fuck out of here, man!
I'll be honest.
We are a strikeout starting rotation, and that guy would fit in like a fucking glove.
There's one guy that
also we would be replacing Justin Steele, who is a southpaw.
We already had 3 lefties on this team. Maybe it's not a problem then.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just overthinking it.
Maybe.
So one guy I'm taking off this list completely. I don't care. I don't want him anywhere near this team. Who do you think it is?
Sears?
Nope. Same team, though.
Severino?
I don't want him. He's pitching tonight.
Really?
Yeah, he's pitching tonight, and he's getting rocked. He's already in 4 2/3 so
rocked,
far.
But that guy's got.
He's given up.
He's got
6.
like an 18-inch break on his slider, though.
Yeah, but like I'm looking at his games, dude, and it's like against the teams that are going to be playoff teams, against the Yankees, he gave up 8 runs in 4 innings. In the Mariner game, he gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. It's like he even gave up 3 runs on 6 hits to the White Sox. I mean, to us, 6. I mean, our offense is perfect. 6 hits, 6 runs. Like this is a guy where it's like, yes, against the Mets, he had a 4-hit, 1 run. The Brewers, 3 hits, 1 run. But he's so Katy Perry, dude. He's so hot and cold. He's yes, he's no, he's in, he's out. I don't want that. That's not reliable to me. Severino, not dog water, but I don't want in the playoffs. I don't want to have to sit there and go, shit, is this going to be a 1-run Severino or a 6-run? Please no.
Fair enough.
Especially if we're playing
That's
those
a fair
Yankees
point.
in the World Series.
Right, which would only be 1 start from him.
By the way, it would be a revenge game either way. Either revenge for the Yankees, because he used to play there, or revenge for him. And last time the Yankees got the revenge on him.
I think when you Google him, he's still wearing a Yankees hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Sears, I have no problem with. He's one of their top pitchers for Oakland. The other guy I've kind of like waned on is Heaney.
You've cooled down now.
I've cooled down a little bit. He got maybe it's just recency biased. His last start was not ideal. Maybe I'm just dealing with my fantasy team woes because he's on my fantasy team, so I take it extra like hard. But yeah, the last game he played was against who the fuck was it? Was it San Diego? Or was it that Arizona
I will say
series?
this too, like Heaney would
Arizona.
probably barely move the needle too.
Yeah, in the last game against Arizona,
You're not bringing him
8 hits, 5 runs. That's all I was going to say in 5 innings.
Yeah. If you bring in Heaney, he's not coming in as your number 2 solid, no question about it.
Do we need a guy who's
I
going to
threw
be
him on there
number
as a
2?
courtesy.
Do we need a guy that's going to be the number 2? Like, do we need a DeGrom?
Yeah.
Do we need an Evaldi? Do we need a Chris Sale? Like, those should be the guys we're
100%. 100% we need a number 2. If we're going to win the World Series, we need long-lasting starting pitching.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah.
Let's say Skeens is on the table, but you got to trade Matt Shaw. Do you do it or do you not do it?
Unfortunately, I think you do.
Oh,
And I thought about this all day.
This is coming from the guy who said he was untouchable.
Did I say he's untouchable?
No, I did. And I said, duh.
Oh, yeah. I think I've been thinking about this all day. I think Cade Horton, Matt Shaw, maybe Owen Cassidy or Kevin Alcantara. I know we keep throwing those guys in terms of trade rumors, but we're willing to trade some farm players for talent right now. And then maybe some guy to fill out the rest of the contract.
I will say this, Skeens is a righty.
Sweeter.
He is a righty.
Yep, he sure is, and he's potentially one of the best pitchers in baseball right now. And the Pirates are not shy about trading away their talent.
Dude, their own. I'll be honest. If I was a Pirate fan, I would so be on the sell the team bandwagon.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you were a Pirate fan, you would also put Skeens as an untouchable, wouldn't you?
Yes, absolutely. I would never trade him.
So
any team that had him, I would never trade him.
So we're looking at Texas then, or maybe Washington with Gore.
I'm gonna stand by it. I would DeGrom and Evaldi is those are the ones I'd be targeting. DeGrom and Evaldi.
Yeah, I think either of them would be an excellent addition to this team. It would look great in the pinstripes.
If you had to pick 2, narrow it down to 2. Who are you targeting? I said Evaldi.
Well, I already told
Gold.
you. Mine are Mackenzie Gore and Luis Severino.
Okay. So
I really think more of Severino than you do, which is fine. I just like the movement he has on his pitches, and I think he could be a great strikeout thrower for us later in the year. But again, it all comes down to who we're willing to package for them.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're gonna, like we've said before, and we're not saying that we would want to trade these guys, but minor leaguers, our farm would have to be given up to a degree.
Well, and it does. It does play to a fact that we value these players. They're valuable trade pieces.
Yes.
It shouldn't be considered like a slight or anything. It's like, you guys are good players. We can get good value for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, that's the way baseball goes.
Exactly. Any final thoughts you got before we wrap things up, big guy?
One thing I wanted to mention, I think I mentioned that the bullpen is ranked number 1 in ERA in the month of May. I want to say that Drew Pomerantz and Chris Flexen have posted 0 runs since they've been a Cub.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't that impressive?
I got one more question for you.
Mm-hmm.
How about some good old Cubs trivia on the podcast?
Ooh. All right. Let me pull up my list here. Cubs fans, play along at home. Name that pitcher.
Ooh, okay.
He has 20.2 innings this year, 22 strikeouts, 19 games played. He's posted an ERA of 1.74, has a record of 0-1.
So 20.2, 22 Ks, 18 games played, 1.74 ERA, and an 0-1 record. It's a bullpen guy.
Yep.
It's a bullpen guy. It's obviously not Pomerantz. Is it... Ooh. Is it Thielbar?
Wrong. And you guys can tell us who is right in the comments below. Yay!
And you're gonna tell me next week, right? You're gonna tell me next week who it was?
Even though the stage, sure.
Yeah, the stats will change, but like Tim, we gotta tell them next week who it was. To know if they're right or wrong.
Well, it's a simple Google search. I'm sure people are going to cheat.
You know what? Our fans have more integrity than that, Tim. How dare you question their integrity? How dare you look at this glass is half empty? No one cheat. Prove Tim right. I said Thielbar. I was wrong. It's not Thielbar.
You were wrong.
Okay. I'm not going to throw out any guesses. I don't want to muddy the waters, but Tim will let us know beginning of the show next week who that pitcher was. Thank you, Tim, for another great show of the Wrecking Crew here on MVP Sports. Remember, Patreon page down below if you want to support us. Discord for the greatest community in the universe also down below. Hit that like button, that sub button. Let us know about anything we talked about today in that comment section. Tim, another great show. Can't wait to do another one next week. But as always, have a good day, everybody. As always, we'd like to thank the people that make these videos possible, our patrons whose names are displayed on the screen now. If you would like to become a patron, go ahead and click the Patreon icon in the bottom right. And if you'd like to check out another video from MVP Sports, hit the video in the upper left. As always, thanks for watching.